Hello there, Outliers. Niyama Shang here, and thank you so much for letting us be a part of your journey here today. We are here for an Outliers Edge Roundtable where we continuously bring like incredible outliers who are exceptional people who are finding ways to just keep up leveling themselves and cross pollinate into their experiences and the way that they see the world so that they can continue to make their biggest impacts out in the world. With that, here, I'd love to introduce you to our guest here today. His name is Scott Shearin. Scott, welcome to the conversation. I'm really glad that you're here.
Hey, I appreciate that. Glad to be here.
Yeah, yeah, same here. Scott, let's give Outliers a chance to get to know you. Do you mind letting us know more about you and the game you're currently playing?
Well, the thing is I'm currently playing about 5 different games,
Mm,
and that wasn't part of the plan. But the thing about a career is it's never really about the plan. When you're like in high school and you think you've constructed some kind of a plan for yourself, it's really kind of comical to look back and think, "Wow, didn't really go as planned." You
mm,
know,
mm,
so
mm,
but
mm,
that I
mm.
think that's all about who honestly is who's successful in life is those that are able to respond and react to the things that are taking place in the world around them and react to them productively and positively as opposed to being upset that things aren't going exactly the way they planned. You
Yeah.
know?
So this is the look. I feel you on this here.
Yeah.
My tell us a bit here. Like so tell us about some of the 5 different games that you have going on here. Like I want to get a sense. What I want to get a sense of is two things. One, I want to understand like, all right, tell us about like the business and things in that nature. And then also like, what's the bigger like mission or impact that you stand for? Whenever I talk to someone who has a lot going on, what I really hear is that like there's something larger than themselves that they're paying attention to. And they have many different ways to go and make it come to life. So you mind sharing that with us?
Sure, sure. I guess, maybe though, if you want, I'll give you like a 5 minute, not
Yeah,
even 5 minutes. I'll give you a 3 minute understanding of where I came from and
let's do
how I
it.
got to be here, and maybe that'll help you understand why I've got so many things going on. Because
Let's make
again,
it happen.
I didn't intend for it to kind of work out this way, but going back to like high school, you saw, I'm sure, Wall Street with Charlie Sheen back in the
Mm-hmm.
'80s. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I was a kid, I was a teenager, and I'm just like, that's me. I'm that guy. And so my whole thing was I'm going to go to school and get a finance degree and be a stockbroker and take over the world.
Yeah.
And so what happened was I ended up graduating high school early, a year early, and figured out that I could just start college early. But going down to college as a 17-year-old, when all your older friends are already down there at school, you start doing things that you shouldn't be doing. You know, and then next thing you know, I'm kind of back at home with my tail between my legs a couple months later, and who knocks on the door but this gunnery sergeant from the Marine Corps,
Mm,
and I'm not one of these kids that went through high school and thinking like, hey, I'm joining this service, I'm doing this.
yeah.
But in that moment, that guy caught me in this. I tried to shut the door on him, and Gunnery Sergeant Allred, still remember this guy, all these years ago. I tried to shut the door on him. He was like, well, hey, I was curious if you'd like to take a test, and that got me. And I was like, a test? I'd love to take a test, So I let him in, and there it was. I joined the Marine Corps, totally unanticipated, and thought, you know what, I'll just go in as a reservist, and I'll go to school. I'll pick military police. I'll be right back in school by the fall, and we'll do it the right way this time. And they got me again, heading out back when I was 18 years old, and they had this conversation with me as I was shipping out, and they're like, hey, so you see that kid sitting out there outside the window? I'm sitting in front of this guy. I probably called him sir. He's got stripes all the way up and down his arm. I'm just still a total idiot kid. And he was like, that kid wants to be military police. And I'm like, oh, good for him. And he's like, well, the thing of it is you got the last slot for the state of Ohio, going in as a reservist. And he was like, and based on your test scores, you could do any job in the Marine Corps. And I'm like, okay. He's like, well, that young man, based on his scores, he can only do infantry or military police. And I'm like, wow. And just they start playing on my ego, they're like, you'd be doing the Marine Corps a tremendous favor if you took this job instead. And of course, I'm 18, so I don't read a damn thing. I'm just like, wow, okay, I'll do that. I'll help him out. I'll sign right here. And what I signed up for was as a cryptologist. I went into crypto, you know, encoding and decoding. But the thing about crypto is, I'm not going to be back in time to start school. You're going for
Yeah.
3 years of training, making an 8-year commitment, and it's like you don't read the fine print as a kid, you know. And trust me, this isn't a regret thing. Everything worked out really well, and it worked out very positively. So I ended up joining the Marine Corps for a long time. I did end up, you know, couple years later getting back into school, which, by the way, now with several years experience in the Marine Corps, school was super, super easy because I was disciplined and mature and grown up, you know, and got my finance degree and all that stuff, became a stockbroker. And you know what, man? I hated it. I hated it so much. And now look, to be honest, I tell people this all the time. If I had lived in New York, maybe I would have loved the profession, but I lived in Cincinnati, Ohio. And so I'm in my mid-late 20s, Cincinnati, Ohio. It's not like high net worth individuals are going to give some 20-something their nest egg and be like, here, manage my funds, kid. You know? And so the only way you can make money, and I just became a dad at this time too, and the only way you can make money and pay for your newborn baby girl is, you know, is to collect basically customers, but your clients end up your age, your peers, and essentially you're going to grow wealthy with them across time as they do. And then the only way to make money in real time to pay your bills is to sell life insurance. And I'm a sales guy. At the end of the day, I'm a sales guy. That's what I am. I am a sales guy. But I suck at selling life insurance, man. That is, and God bless the people who are good at that, because it's a necessary product and it's a very valuable product. But it was destroying me, you know. I would come to your dinner table and be like, yeah, hey, I love the house, man. Beautiful kids. You got a couple kids running around. Do you know you're going to die? Do you want to take it? It's like having that conversation with people day in and day out for a year and a half, and I was miserable. And I ended up at a networking event with one of my old close Marine friends, and he owned and had started a veteran career fair company called Recruit Military. They're very big around the country, doing veteran career fairs and you know, football stadiums and stuff like that. And I was open with him, telling him how miserable I was, and he was like, Scott, you know what? This is 2004, so I'm taking you back, you know. And he's like, I've got a client who's looking for a sales guy with a military background. He was like, that's you? And I'm like, Drew, that is me, man. I'm like, whatever it is, I don't even care. Like, whatever it is, I'll go.
I love that. You're like, I'll sign the line. Like, I think you'd be great for
exactly.
this job over here. Go ahead, Scott. Keep us with it.
Exactly. And so it turns out that company was an enormous IT staffing firm called Tech Systems. And there it is, snap of a finger. That's what introduced me to the world of recruiting. And again, taking you back there, I didn't even know that people did this for a living. When I thought of recruiters, I thought of the gunnery sergeant that showed up at my door and made me join the Marine Corps. I didn't know that there were people that, you know, constructed an entire career around the world of talent acquisition and recruiting. Had no idea. But Tech Systems was looking for a guy that could come up and penetrate the third-party defense integrator market out of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. And I was that guy. And so I'm up there, you know, and it was fun because I'm a Marine and you put me on an Air Force base for sales. And Marines, there's all this sort of interplay and competition between the branches. If you didn't know, between the Army. And of course, in the Marines, we're looked at as the dumb ones. We're just the grunt that we just like go and fight and flex our muscles. And, you know, we eat crayons. You know, and the Air Force, they see themselves as the smart ones. And so I was just up there having lunches with all these potential clients. Oh, you're a Marine, you dumb crayon eater, you know, and like, yeah, just sign you know what I mean? I am an idiot. Just sign this piece of paper. Made a lot of friends up there, had a great time. But then ended up several years later getting recruited into the Sara Lee organization, big food company. And they needed somebody to look over their IT recruiting. And so took that job. But then, look, again, I'm a sales guy. That's what I am. I'm a relationship builder. And you put a sales guy on a large corporate HR team, there was, you know, every time that they came in and they were like, hey, we need somebody from talent acquisition to get on stage and give a presentation to the entire company, 35,000 people about this or that. I'm just the only idiot that was like, hell yeah, I'll do that, you know? And so ended up becoming good friends with the CEO. God bless her soul. She passed away not too long ago, Brenda Barnes. And but so that's how I ended up becoming the global head of talent for the Sara Lee Bakery. And so again, it's not because I'm a gifted recruiter. You know what I mean? It's just I'm a talker. And so ended up doing that. And I thought, hell, I'll be honest with you. You know, during those years, I'm thinking like 07 to 2012. I just thought I was going to be with Sara Lee my whole career, big Fortune 500 food
Right.
company. And they moved me to Chicago. I hated that. My wife hated that too. We felt imprisoned
Mhm.
in Chicago, and no offense to any Chicagoans,
Yep.
you know, but it's just up there. It's cold, flat, and
Mhm.
expensive, and I don't like any of those three things. So but in 2012, rather unexpectedly, Sara Lee went out of business, just like that, and divested all of our brands to various food companies around the world. I ended up getting sold like a free agent to the Mexican baking company Bimbo Bakeries. To this day, when you pick up a loaf of Sara Lee bread and turn
Mhm.
it over, you'll see that it's distributed by the Bimbo Baking Company.
Oh.
And yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and the CEO down there, Daniel Ceviche, great guy. I think I'm not sure, I haven't touched base with him in a long time, but I think it's still run by that family. But he was like, Scott, this is awesome. He was like, we have 110,000 global employees, and we've never had a global head of recruiting.
Mm.
And to this day, I'm still just like, how? You know, what does that
Yes.
even mean? And yeah, so he's like, well, we'll move you down to Mexico City. We'll build the whole thing around you. This will be great. And I'm like, okay, first of all, my wife is pregnant,
Mhm.
number one, with our youngest. He's now 13. Probably listening to me over
Yeah.
there. I'm not sure. But, and number two, Niama, I don't speak a lick of
Yeah.
Spanish. I can ask for more chicken, please. Más pollo, por favor. That's
I
about
have
all
my
I can say.
sentence, so don't
And
worry. Like, "Pero
yeah,
y al baño?" I need to learn more Spanish.
yeah,
But continue, please. Yeah.
it's same, same. And so I ended up declining that offer and resigned, and that's what pushed me into entrepreneurship and started my first company.
Around what
And
time, what, like, year-wise, what time is this? I wanna just get a sense as to, generally where we are in the journey.
technically, so the 2012,
Yeah.
2013, but
Okay.
yeah, so
Alright.
yep. And so I opened up a recruiting company just for
Okay.
military veterans. So not competing with Drew. Drew's focused on
Yep.
career fairs. I didn't really care about
Yep.
career fairs. I just wanted to focus on the actual contingent recruiting experience and trying to find active military veterans and place them with private
Okay.
companies. And that's what we did. We grew from there, and that business is still in business. But as you probably recall, a couple years ago, the contingent recruiting world, especially with COVID and the changes in the economy, the contingent recruiting world has just fallen.
Mhm.
I mean, like
Mhm.
you know, you can't find anybody right now willing to pay a contingent recruiting fee, to make
Mhm.
placements,
Mhm.
veterans or otherwise, doesn't really matter. And so our business kind of really took a hit. We're doing some good work with selling other types of services like RPO services, like recruitment process outsourcing services, and basically working for companies on an
Mhm.
hourly basis. So like consulting and RPO, but that is not super profitable. It's not super sustainable, and that's when. And so kind of roll into why I've got so many things going on at the moment. But that will roll into several years ago when one of my clients, the CEO, was a very close friend of mine, Chuck, and he became a client of mine, and so I was working with his head of recruiting on his team, and he also became a very good friend of mine, as you might imagine. I mean, you're starting to see now. I like to make friends with people, so that's what I do. That's what makes me a good recruiter. And um, so I ended up becoming very close with his head of recruiting. He was a Canadian
Mhm.
Army guy, and I'm an old Marine, so we had lots of back and forth and jokes with
Nice.
each other. And then almost wow, going on to almost 2 years ago now, he just to me it was a shock to me. It was still a shock to my system. He just almost on the flip of turn of a switch just lost a battle with
Oh,
cancer,
man.
just
Oh,
like that.
sorry to hear that.
And it was like I didn't even know that he had been
Yeah.
fighting that. What I wasn't aware of that. So it was, but you know how that goes, and it got into his spine, and then that was that. It was like, oh man, God. So my good friend Chuck sat me down and was like, Scott, with Rob gone, I could really use your
Mhm.
help coming on and leading my small recruiting team. And number one, you don't tell a friend no, when they need help. Number one. Number two, the market was in such a state where I was like, wow, I could use this. It would be helpful, personally beneficial. So I never thought that I would take a W-2 permanent job
Mhm.
again with a
Mhm.
company, but I thought, hey, this is going to help you. It's going to help me. This works out. And plus, Chuck's not going to come in and be like, you need to close this business and stop
Mhm.
doing this.
Mhm. Mhm.
He'll let that go. I've got people working for veteran talent, and also there is another startup that we're focused on. This is where I was talking about the funding, to put Indeed out of business because, come on, somebody's got to put Indeed out of business. Job boards have to evolve,
Yeah.
and my partner on that is Chuck, so he's very well equipped in that as well. So it all worked out and everything was going great. And then a couple months ago, Chuck actually got acquired by a much larger IT services firm. Chuck's firm, by the way, was an SAP shop. So they only did manufacturing, only did SAP. And I'm well versed in SAP because Sarah Lee was a big SAP shop, so I've been recruiting SAP for decades. So it's second speech for me. And so now I'm part of another acquisition. This always is a common theme. You know what I mean? Not just for me. I think it's common for a lot of people. So far, I'm just a couple months into this new acquisition with this new group, Jade Global, and Jade is, like I said, was a much larger firm than Chuck's firm. They're the one thing that they were missing though in their services was SAP. They're very big into Oracle, Salesforce, stuff like that, but they really didn't have much of a presence in the SAP world. So that's what made D4M, Chuck's firm, very attractive to them. And also they're trying to really increase their presence in Latin America and Mexico. And we were very big in Mexico just because we were automotive focused. And if you probably know, like over the last 20 years, the automotive industry has flooded Mexico with manufacturing plants. So that's we do a lot of work down there. So it made sense. So I am now no longer a permanent employee of my good friend Chuck as a favor. I am now actually an employee of a much larger firm. And so there's that, and then there's also my startup, and then to make things even more complex, back right before the acquisition, I sat Chuck down and I was like, Chuck, look, I'm a disabled vet. I was like, I have been told that there are great benefits in the government contracting space to being a disabled vet. I was like, so I should open up a firm focused on ERP work and services, get certified as a service disabled veteran-owned small business, and then we'll go after ERP government contracts, and D4M can do the work, and I'll do the bidding and get the. He's like, Scott, that's amazing. So we did all the silliness, and trust me, there's a lot of silliness involved to certifying with the government and going through all that whole process, and that was like a 5 or 6 month process. So opened that business, got it certified as a certified SDVOSB, service disabled veteran-owned small business, and then Chuck sells to Jade. So now I'm kind of in like, so I've got this company. Is how interested is Jade going to be in supporting and sponsoring government contracts? Should I win them? You know what I mean? And then there's the startup, which I'm most focused on, which is the one to put Indeed out of business, and that's called Climb with a K, Climb.ai. So have put a lot of work into building Climb, primarily on a little bit on the front end. It's still pretty, it needs some work, but have put a lot of work and effort into the back end and the data aggregation aspect. So when you think of Climb, think of it's really going to be more of a representation of the actual job market, whereas job aggregators in the past have always just gone out and scraped everything from everywhere. And half of what you get on there as a job seeker, half of your experience on there is just, well, it's a lot of crap. Yeah, as you know, half the stuff on there aren't real jobs. The real jobs that do exist are actually listed on there 25 to 30 times. There's a huge opening for all kinds of scams and crap and not real postings and phishing schemes and all kinds of crap that gets on there. But we're going about this with Climb in a much different way. So we are not selling job postings. We are actually going out there and aggregating the actual jobs from actual certified employers. So at any given time, once this thing launches, you shouldn't trust the federal government when they say this many jobs were created. That's just an algorithmically derived, number that they get from voluntary surveys that they send out. Our platform will be the actual job market that exists in real time. Well, I say real time. Our data aggregator works once every 24 hours, so nothing on there will be more than 24 hours old. Then, of course, you have a lot of AI tools that help with the job searching, and then we have a lot of AI tools that help with employer recruiting. So that's where we will monetize. We're not looking to monetize the candidates, the job seekers. There's a lot of tools out there in the AI space that are doing that right now. And that's okay. They're providing a service to job seekers. That's fine. They charge for that service. But then what they end up doing is just flooding that candidate out to 50, 100, 200 different, jobs, applying to jobs on their behalf with tailored resumes and things like that. But half the time, or probably not half the time, probably 99% of the time, the users don't even know what jobs are being applied to. You know what I mean? There's not real interest there. And so it's basically it's a mess for both recruiters, employers, and job seekers. And so we're basically going to solve that entire mess.
I like this.
So yeah,
I like this right here.
So that's Climb. But like I said, now I've got a full-time job. I'm trying,
Yep.
which
I'm tracking. Just so you know, like I'm like
Yeah.
all right. Here's the full-time job. You have the startup. You have yes, you have full-time job Climb. A
Vet ERP.
business. Yeah, but is that the last one?
Vet ERP, that the
Vet
government
ERP.
contracting. Yeah.
Yes, that's the government. So that's the one that started with Chuck and then Chuck sold, right? So you have those three things going on. What else am I missing?
Oh, well, I have a family.
You have a family. Yes. I was like, all right. So there's the three there. Yeah. So
then on top of that, and not to throw more in there, but on top, remember how I said we started selling a lot of RPO services, like hourly consulting services, different companies. And my wife, who, by the way, is also a career recruiter. Okay. Guess where she and I met? Tech Systems 20 years ago. Exactly.
There we go. Nice.
We're a techie couple, nice. And so met her on the first day. But anyway, yeah, in the elevator. It was meant to be.
That's it. So. Yeah, those things come together. They call it a meet cute or something like that, right? Where it's just like yeah. It's like a little sitcom. I love it. It's like
exactly. So yeah,
can I get 4, please?
No, we still tell stories about that, and yeah. So, she now has collected with veteran talent. I might get this wrong. 8 or 9 different RPO clients. So this poor girl is out there trying to serve and answer, like 8 different clients from an hourly standpoint. Some of them, she's only doing like 5 hours a week. Others, though, are more like 20 hours a week. And so she's run around with her hair on fire as well,
So like there's a couple things here, Scott. First, thanks for taking this in here. Like, there's an element of this where I was like, oh, this is such a true outlier element, right? And there are a couple things that were like striking me as you were saying it. One was, and I'll be asking you some questions related to, but I feel like the one element here, and I think a lot of us outliers get this, which is like we, at a certain point, we get skilled, and then we get asked to come and do something. And I kind of like, I have this visual in my mind of like this sliding the paper in front of us. For some people, it's like, hey, come take this promotion or come do this right here. And it ends up being something that it wasn't where we planned on going, but it's where we ended up, right? And what ends up happening too is that we have this level of like excellence where it's like, there's no way we're going to fail, right?
No matter what the paper is.
Yeah. No matter, we're good. Like we're gonna be able to make like, oh, looks like I'm doing this now. Okay, now I'm in cryptology. Didn't see that coming. The crypto before the crypto. There's something about us as outliers that helps us be resourceful, has us be able to lean into whatever our strengths are to make ourselves be successful there. Because I was listening to this, so like, oh, you had like 4 different careers, and then you got into like talent, and like you've been building through that. Like for I guess at least 20 years now, right? Something like that.
Right.
But I also hear as you're talking, like as much as you're like head of talent acquisition, head of global talent, like you have like your CEO and founder. At the end of the day, you're like, I'm a salesperson. Like I like this that like so I'm seeing that, and I get really curious about how that identity continues to benefit you as you take on higher and higher like roles, that you're like in CEO roles and founder roles and head of department roles, like how you're able to continue to leverage that to create success in things where people might be like, oh no, this is more operational, or this is just like leadership. I'm very curious about how you're able to stay. I think one of your gifts is that you know yourself. And you're humble enough. There's enough humility to be like, this is who I am. And then, but then you do you so well. Like I say, be you on purpose. Like that's what I feel about you, Scott.
Right.
What are your thoughts when I say that?
So look, And I know so many people look at this as just cliche and they won't buy into it and they won't adopt it. But the reality is though, is like, yeah, I mean, we're all salespeople.
Mm.
And I mean that. We all are. I mean, some of us adopt it better than others, but at the end of the day, you're selling something that you're building, you're selling something, you're selling a solution, you're selling yourself for a job, you're selling whatever it is. It's all about relationship building, you know. Even the engineers of us, you know, who I respect and love. And trust me, given that the vast majority of my recruiting experience is in the IT space, you know, and a lot, even on the veteran side, I would often pursue the technical recs because I was most comfortable with that. So as you can probably imagine, I spent the vast majority of my time interviewing candidates who are hardcore engineers and are not people in any way, shape, or form. But when they talk to me though, man, they open up because I make them. You know, I make them. I get them comfortable. I get them at ease, and they open up, and we become friends. Even with the engineers. That
Even
don't
like that, what you just said there, and we become friends, right? So like what I pull out here is
Yeah.
so Outliers. What I want to see is like Scott knows his strengths. Like if I'm listening to this, like Scott has been playing the same game over and over and over again at higher and higher levels with
Mhm.
various things. And one of the big tools or whatever it is, I don't know how I have to think about how I want to frame it, but like the we become friends. I think is like it. Like yes, you're selling, but you're also going out there just like making friends on a
Right.
regular basis,
Right.
right? And then and then you're doing the things that friends do, which is
Right.
to like hey, I got an opportunity for you, right? Because as a good friend, I'm not going to hold you back from this. As a good friend, I'm
Yeah.
like there's something there that I think goes beyond just like this standard skill set of it, and it's like the way you choose to play the game. Let me
Right.
know what your thoughts are. Like, does that feel like it aligns
No,
at all?
it does. It's very well aligned. And keep in mind too, is like it's not even that you talked about before, like, you know, you didn't choose all the things that happened to you in your life. You didn't choose exact, you know, a lot of it's just how you respond and react. I didn't choose to be, I didn't choose this personality or this mindset. You know what I mean? If you met my family, I mean, you'd understand. I come from a long line of guess what? Sales guys. A
Okay, all
long
right,
line
cool.
of them. You
I
know,
thought I wasn't
my
sure if I wasn't sure if you're gonna be like the black sheep or it's like no,
no,
I've been groomed. I've been groomed. I was
no,
like
you
of
should.
lawyers.
No, long line of salespeople, and but well, and
Okay,
all entrepreneurs. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
my grandfather came over here, opened up a furniture manufacturing company. You know, way back when, ended up giving it to my dad, and then you know, so yeah, so that was and then my brother, career sale. I mean, so growing up, it was a hard competition for voice space because
Yeah.
nobody ever shut up. You know
Mhm,
what I mean?
mhm,
We all had lots to say, you know, and
mhm.
so you grow up like that, and it's just like, yeah, you know, you're going to learn how to connect with people, you're going to learn how to build relationships, and you're going to learn how to get your voice heard. You
All
know?
right. I like this. So I'm gonna go to outliers. So as we go through, I'm gonna go through. I'll be talking to the outliers as this comes along. Outliers. I want you to think for yourself here. What are the gifts that your like lived experience, your family experience, like what are they giving you, and have you taken ownership of it to the extent that Scott has? Right? He's like, look, entrepreneurship and sales, like it's been my world, you know,
Yeah.
and talking has been and being able to you talk about like selling. You're like we're always selling. I always think about like we're always selling like the next second of a conversation, right?
Right.
At
Yeah,
any
oh,
point, like
100%.
yeah, like if at any point if this wasn't working, you'd be like, oh, you know what? There's a call I got to take. My wife's calling. I gotta go, right? So so we're always in that space there. And so as you're sharing things, Scott, it's making me think. Okay, outliers. One of the things I want to make sure you have is like access to your skills, access to the simple things that you do that continuously get you results. And then like what I love about what Scott has done is you kept putting those same skills into high like better and better positioning for you. You know,
Sure.
it's like you use it to sell insurance, yeah, because you were out of it. You're like, as your friend, I don't know how to go back and forth with this. And
Right.
you got yourself out of that space and you're like, ah, freedom. Like I can just like I can just chill. Like I
Right.
don't like whether it's an
Right.
Air Force, I don't care what you call me, just yep, just don't forget the sign, you know,
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
so
Well,
so
and so
the
many
you know
people
like
too, even from a recruiting standpoint and from a
yeah.
corporate talent acquisition standpoint, so many people, and some of the highest level professionals, they still interpret that and see that as an HR function.
Mm.
And it still rests within HR within just about every company out there, right?
So what
But
do
the
you
reality
see it
is,
as? Yeah.
it's sales and marketing
Mhm.
100% it's sales and marketing. I'm not saying that talent acquisition belongs in the sales department. That's not what I'm
Mhm.
saying. But at the end of the day, is sales. And I'm actually envious of traditional sales guys, and girls, because they have a client and a product singularly. Whereas here, it's double the work for
Mhm.
recruiters, because we have to sell an opportunity to a
Yep.
candidate and get them onboarded and engaged and excited. And then we have to turn around and sell the candidate to the
Yeah,
to the
like y'all
hiring
are
team.
like the marketplace of it, both of it, right? On both ends. You're just
Oh,
like, all right, we have to work
100%.
on both ends of it.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I
So
like this element here of it's super interesting to me. I think like as I keep going, I'm good at making things complex, right? But like and I think I'm finally getting to the point in life where I'm also like I'm now starting to see that I'm also good at making things very simple, you know. But
sure. You
yeah,
need
but I
to.
needed to get through
Yeah.
the complexity to be able to be like, oh wait, it's really just these like one, two, three. There's a lot of other stuff can happen, but if you're doing one, two, three, you're good. Um, and so
Right.
while I'm hearing, well, like when I like hear you talk, Scott, like I'm listening to the simplicity behind it. Like I'm
Right.
listening to even like how your roles came about. Right. A lot of this stuff wasn't like
Right.
you didn't go to Indeed and Climb didn't exist at that time to go and help you out there, right? But like you're
Sure.
a relational person. You know how to like you're creating friendships, you're creating relations, you're creating value through that. You're making sure that people are
Right.
talking and sharing and you are talking and sharing and you kept getting more and more opportunities as it relates to that, right? Like at least from the way that I heard the journey here, it's like who Scott was exactly how most of these roles will come in. Someone came up at first and said, hey, like we're calling on you, but after that it's just relationships leading to every opportunity along
Yeah.
the way. How true does that feel?
Yeah, totally true. And the cool thing now, just to get on board with all the current
Yeah,
trends, but this relates directly to
yeah,
climb, is I have the capacity to go in and build, my own agentic
yes,
platform within an AI standpoint with my own elements and my own personality. So I've got climb. I know most companies have, an AI personality that represents them, but the reality is that climb has
nice,
five at the
nice,
moment, five agents that one for the
yeah,
employers, right? And that's
yeah,
Pat, by the way, which does stand for Professional Attractor of Talent,
nice.
number one. But it also, I think do you remember Saturday
I
Night
do.
Live back in
I
the
still,
89?
yep,
Okay.
I'm still on it. So go ahead. Oh,
Okay.
it's
Well,
Pat.
so back, Pat, yeah, good stuff. But I didn't want to see you knew. I didn't want to get
Yeah,
into Pat has a
yeah,
gender. Pat's not a
yeah,
guy or a
yeah,
girl.
it's
You
Pat.
can't tell.
Yeah,
So Pat looks like a little Lego
yeah,
guy, and he's a professional attractor of talent. But he's
yeah,
Pat or she. Well, I'm sorry. I just
yeah,
fell
yeah,
fell victim to it.
yeah. It's
It's
Pat.
Pat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So anyway, I knew you, yeah, I
yeah.
think you'd like that. And then on the candidate side, to help with the candidate journey and the career journey and helping people to grow themselves and find the right opportunities is since the platform is Climb. What are you going to experience when you're making climbs during your career and trying to get to the summit? You're going to experience Yetis, you
Mm,
know, Bigfoots.
mm.
So there's a nice, friendly, professional Yeti. The name is
Nice,
Everest.
nice, makes
You know,
sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And then on the back end, there's five other agents that all incorporate my personality and work together that go out there and do a really amazing job of exploring the market, finding where the jobs exist, acquiring those jobs, ensuring that they're from actual certified companies, running those scrapers every night, and then getting them out into the world that Pat and Everest can play
Uh, uh,
with.
what's
So
coming to me as you're saying this here, one, I like the unique like proposition of the five there. The other part that's getting to me is I'm realizing in real time how like AI and agentic and building in this way is actually going to be likely a really useful tool for us as outliers.
mhm.
Um,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
mainly in the sense of like you said, like it has like your personality, it has it has your thing, but it also has your years of experience of as to like the workflows and things that you do, right? And
right,
so what's
right.
coming to me is like it actually forces us to step into leadership and nuance on a higher level because we're now we have to
Agreed.
break down this thing that we do is like it's like how do I say it? It's like when someone walks in the room, Scott, and you're creating a relationship with someone, they're like, I can't do that. I'm not Scott. Like that. It's like no. Scott is doing certain things. And there's like
Right,
and he's like there's certain decisions that come on and sometimes he throws in a random variable of like, oh yeah, I was watching this game or whatever it is, and we see what happens from that.
exactly.
But like what's coming to me in real time is like, oh, in order to be able to get like an agentic version of that, it actually requires a lot of mastery. It requires a lot of self-reflection, self-awareness, a lot of like sitting down and being like, okay, not just what should
Yeah,
happen, but I've had a ton of experience in life. How do I distill this and translate it into a way that 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 carries through this platform? How
right.
true does that feel to
Exactly.
you, Scott? I'm making this up. This is coming to me in real time, so I want to check in and say,
No, and that's the way. That's how you know it's
yeah.
true. You know? So,
This is not, yeah,
but yeah, no, that it's
yeah.
uncorrupted. I would say. And sorry if I've got another
Yeah,
computer over here. So, like I said, I'm still trying to. I'm a full
yeah.
time guy
Yep,
too.
yep, yep.
So,
You
you
got
know,
to take care.
but no, that's 100% true. 100% true. And a lot. I mean, look, so many of us are going to have the capacity to build things that we never looked even 10 years ago we never should have had the capabilities to
Yep.
build. I'm over here coding in Python.
Yeah,
Every night I'm up till
yeah,
midnight doing this coding, and I don't know how to
yeah,
code,
yeah.
but I do
Yep,
now.
yep. You can get it
So
done. Yes, yes.
exactly. So no, that's 100%
Well,
true.
I love that element too. I love that element too of well, I don't know how to code. It's like it's different now nowadays. I don't know how to program live streaming capabilities to get bits to go across the internet to then like have us have a real time conversation that other people can participate in and leave their comments and respond. Like I don't know how to do any of this stuff, but that's not the job.
Right.
The job,
Right.
that's like technology was created so that we don't have to know anymore. The question
Right.
then becomes,
Exactly.
given that it's now available, what are you gonna do with it? You know?
100%. And that's always been the case. That's always been the case. And so, like, so many people are like, "Oh, well, AI is going to ruin the job market for everybody, and it's going to put everybody out of work." Like, no, man, that's not going to be the case. Sure, there's going to be some aspects that you can point at and be like, "It happened in this specific instance," and yeah, okay, that's certainly true. But the reality is that the people who decide to learn AI and learn how to be productive with it are going to be far more productive than the people who
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Period. And so this is no different really within the Industrial Revolution. Before the Industrial Revolution, everybody worked in the fields because if you didn't, you would starve to death. So you had to manage your fields, grow food for your family. And that was that. And then once Industrial Revolution came along and basically took the agricultural business and put everybody out of work, we all found other things to do. And the same thing is going to happen with AI. Humans are going to find other things to do. There's going to be markets that exist, Niyama, 5 years from now, 10, 20 years from now, that you and I sitting here today, it'd be impossible for us to even think about what markets are going to present themselves and what products are going to
This is
exist.
why
We can't,
this
we
is
don't
why
know.
I'm happy that you shared your story. We're gonna have to start wrapping up the conversation here, but like
Yeah, I've got a 3
okay, good.
o'clock.
We're
So
good. We're aligned. But I'm happy you shared your journey here, right? From age 17 onwards. With this is where I thought my life
mhm.
was gonna go. I really like the fact that you're like I didn't know it could exist until I was shown, and when I saw it, I was like, I'm that guy. Like I think this is one of the things I
Yeah,
think is important about us as outliers. Part of why I showcase and I platform people because I want people to see themselves and be like and to recognize parts of themselves in others, so that we know. Like they say. You cannot be what you have not seen in certain ways. It's not like
that's right.
100% true, but like it's something nice to get on. But one of the things I liked about your journey is that like that 17-year-old had no clue that like this is where you would be.
Well, like I said, I
Like
didn't even know that people did this for a living.
did it,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah. And guess so I hear that as we're talking about AI in the future here. I'm like, that's gonna be us.
oh, it is.
Like, that's gonna be us. Like we have no idea, right? But what I also love, and this is why I go back to the simplicity of it all, right? It's like let us figure out what we are great at, what we
Right.
are genius level at, not just competent at, not just like excellent. I'm thinking about
Yeah.
Gay Hendricks and the Big Leap, where he talks about his zones, the different zones that he has. But it's like, what is your genius? Your genius is in making friends and talking, right?
Right.
And then now there's
Right.
new technology where we do it face to face, you do it online. Now we're gonna do it through agentic, like
Right.
through agents. But like it's like if you understand that, then we're just seeing how are we leveraging it in whatever the economy is, whatever the opportunities are, whatever the market is, whatever the like it's just we're just doing the same thing in a different way.
Oh,
You know?
100%. I mean, think about if you went back in time and took your great, 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 I don't know how many grades it would
Yeah.
need to be like, I don't know, 1650, but take your grandfather 50, get him in a time machine and bring him to 2026. his mind would be
Wow.
blown.
Absolutely.
Just, airplanes, cars, telephones, TV. I mean, his whatever
Yeah.
you name it, his mind would be blown. He couldn't have envisioned or predicted all the products that are just we take for
No, no,
granted to
no,
this
no.
day. And the same thing's going to happen. And now it's happening even faster because of the way technology accelerates. And so now, and maybe this is a stretch, but now the 2026 world, the way it looked to your 1650 grandfather, that's what the world's going to look like 20
Oh
years
yeah,
from now to
I
us.
don't think it's a
I
stretch.
think
I don't think it's a stretch.
that may be a push,
I
but
would rather position ourselves that way. I'd rather outline because outliers are on the cutting edge as it is. Like this is why I don't
right.
talk like average because I'm like I think that like it's gonna be if people are expecting more of the same or wanting to go back to how it was. I'm like, oh man, this next 2 decades are gonna be a trip for you, you know. But for
They'll
yeah,
adapt. They'll
eventually, and
adapt.
like, and the thing that's cool is
They
as
will.
outliers, like we get to ride the wave as it's happening, you know, right? Like, and
Right.
so I really appreciate this conversation, Scott, because it gives us a chance to be able to be in the driver's seat. It gives us a chance to be able to see what's here and to
Right.
leverage what makes us awesome to keep creating awesomeness out in the world. We're going to end our conversation here, Scott. I have two questions to do to bring that to life. The first one is how can outliers go deeper down the journey with you?
Well, I don't know. I mean, let's stay in touch and continue to develop our
Nice,
our
nice,
friendship.
nice, nice, nice.
You know?
Thank you.
So
Here, like
yeah.
that'll be awesome, Scott. And like if any outlier wants to follow what you're doing, is interested in climb, wants to around that or ask questions around that, like what's the best ways for them to do that?
At the moment, right now,
Okay,
LinkedIn, is the most
yes,
reliable. I've got I don't even know why, honestly, but I've got like 20,000 followers
nice,
and connections. I
yeah.
don't know, but I didn't like. I don't know. I say that, and I have no idea why. But yeah, reach out to me on there. I connect. I don't turn down any
Nice,
connection requests, and
nice.
so
All
happy
right,
to chat
perfect.
with
And
you.
then last question we ask here is that like every time I have a conversation, the whole point is that it's for it to be a life changing experience, a life changing conversation. And so I'm curious for you, like leaving outliers to the side here. In what ways, like what are you taking out of this conversation? What's an insight that you got, if any? And you don't feel like you need to make anything up if nothing's coming to you, but I always love to ask.
No, sure. So, well, no, there obviously there's always. I love talking about things on a
Mhm,
high level and trying to get into the depth of what is just
mhm.
everyday life because everyday life is a lot more complex and we take a lot of things for granted, and so it's great to stop for a moment, and kind of explore some of
Yeah,
those depths. And I appreciate you know taking the time to do that. And so because as you can tell from what we talked about, I have not had a
yeah,
lot of time lately. So speaking of which, I have
yeah,
to drop
yeah,
here
yeah.
right now. So
Well, I want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time here, outliers. Until the next time we all talk here, like be you on purpose. Journey on.